Hi, I'm Melissa Gilbert. While you're enjoying Season 9 of Little House on the Prairie, why don't you take a minute and watch this documentary we've made on the legacy of Laura Ingalls Wilder.
For more than 70 years, the stories of Laura Ingalls Wilder have enthralled and uplifted generations of fans. For the last 30 of those years, Little House on the Prairie has spread Laura's message to television audiences around the world. A message of family loyalty, high moral standards, and love.
I love you, Pa.
Laura's Little House books provided the inspiration.
Well, there must be something you'd want to do.
I'd like to live long enough to see all my children grow up, be happy, have families of their own.
And Michael Landon's superstar appeal turned the series into one of television's most enduring family dramas.
But if somebody had a special dream, do you think they should try no matter what?
But it all started with Laura.
Laura Ingalls Wilder is a lady who, with her words, captured the prairie and the family virtues.
And she did it in a style that celebrates days gone by, as relevant today as it was when her first book was published in the 1930s.
Up here!
Look at it. My home, Carolyn.
Popular authors come and go. Other TV series vanish from the scene. So why has this simple tale of a prairie girl and her family outlasted the flashy, the sensational, and the trendy?
Little House on the Prairie evokes the archetype of the family and the archetype of the community.
I think Little House on the Prairie is a representation of everything that we as human beings aspire to be and live up to and have in our lives.
It teaches us how to support one another and be there and have compassion and care for your neighbor and your family members and how you all work together to survive.
It was real. It wasn't 1870, it was real.
And it was told in the books and on the television series from Laura's optimistic, heartfelt perspective.
She's not a saint. She was a typical American country girl.
Country girls.
The stories of this simple country girl are based on timeless values of hard work, family, honesty, and faith, and their essence was the inspiration for the Little House television series. For generations of Laura Ingalls Wilder devotees around the world, the message of Laura's Little House books and NBC's Little House on the Prairie series are the enduring foundation of Laura's legacy. Laura Ingalls Wilder was born in 1867 and many years later set her stories in that time that has been described so extensively in the history books. But Laura didn't write history in the conventional sense.
Laura's books do just exactly what oral history does. I like the word history broken down. His story, if you want to play with it that way. It's what happened to the individual person that really makes history.
While Laura didn't write history, she did write about life. Her life with her family as a pioneer girl on the American prairie. Many are surprised to learn that Michael Landon's growing up years were not as nurturing or as happy as Laura's.
In Mike's own upbringing, it was very, very sad upbringing in the family. In later years, neither his mother or father spoke to each other. The mother would say, "Tell your father dinner is ready." The father would say, "Tell your mother I'm not hungry." So there was this kind of an atmosphere. And out behind his house, there was a big open area, and he used to go out there and play and pretend and created other characters that he could play, because it gave him that escape.
He healed himself and touched our purest emotions by writing the television Ingalls to be an example of what family life could be. Little House on the Prairie arrived on America's television screens as a wonderful blend of Laura's stories and Michael Landon's rich imagination, combined with a healthy dose of historic authenticity.
But not today. Today's special.
Producer Kent McCrae remembers how, from the very beginning, the Little House production team worked to make its world as evocative and real as possible.
Michael wanted everything done right. The prop men, the wardrobe people, all took pains in finding things that were accurate.
It's a fine morning.
Isn't it? Morning, Mom. Mary?
When the actors first came on a set, I think it was a little intimidating. I mean, here was a set of 1870, and everything we had tried to be that way. The pots and the pans were not bought from QVC. They came right from somebody's garage that we found.
Attention to detail and authenticity started with the producers and continued with the crew and the cast.
Karen Grassley, playing Ma, she used to walk to the store with eggs and sell the eggs to Mrs. Olson.
You didn't bring any brown eggs.
Well, the prop man made up some phony eggs out of wood. Bothered her, because she said the real eggs have a certain weight that these don't have.
Good day, Mrs. Olson.
It pays off. I mean, this is the detail that people went to.
In front of and behind the camera, everyone was committed to creating an environment that could transport us to Laura's world of family and adventure.
Laura picked up the stories of her father and mother, and when she sat down to write them, I think she remembered, and they were the stories that were told over and over and over again. She lived them as well.
She wrote them because of her love for Pa. It just wasn't about Laura. If you read the books and read them closely, it's about Laura's relationship with her father.
And those moments between Pa and Laura, as played by Melissa Gilbert, became the emotional centerpiece of the series as well.
We were like kindred spirits. There was this emotional symbiosis. If his eyes filled with tears, my eyes filled with tears. If he smiled, I smiled. If I smiled, he smiled. It was like we fed off of each other.
Jonathan.
Everything I felt in my heart when I would look in that man's eyes just came right out of my face. He made me feel, and he made me feel safe.
You promise not to tell?
Cross my heart.
All right, well, I knew your ma would just die of a broken heart.
And that lasted throughout the length of our entire relationship, on and off camera.
Oh, Pa, I do love you.
I love you, too. Off to bed.
Along with the happy, warm, and funny times, Michael Landon did not shy away from detailing hardship and tragedy.
There's something wrong with the baby.
With Laura's books as his touchstone, Michael Landon took all of us with him through some of life's most extraordinary challenges.
Our baby is dead.
No, we can't be. No!
It wasn't just babies who died on the prairie. Tragedy came in all shapes and sizes.
Jack?
You would read a script and you'd start to cry. I would. Now you'd shoot it. You'd be on a set. You'd start to cry. I mean, it was very touching.
I tell you, you and that old dog had something special. There's something a lot of people don't have in their whole lifetime.
In Laura's world, as in real life, tragedies came in all forms and had to be endured.
Whoever that is, get him out of here. Wait a minute. Darkest fever in Wallacross.
Help me! Help me! Oh, I can't see! I can't see!
Although Laura never wrote about them, Michael Landon used the series to take on previously taboo subjects.
It's not morphine. No.
Stories about drug abuse, the cruelty of racism,
sit on the floor.
And even rape taught us that tragedy and pain are unavoidable facts of life.
Stay there a minute.
But for Laura and Michael Landon, the solutions to life's greatest crises were always found in the unconditional love and safety of the family.
Being there for each other, supporting your family, perseverance, determination to survive, and all of this are things that are key values that we are lacking in society now.
Do unto others.
That's right, and that means no name calling.
Michael Landon, inspired by the challenges of his life, created an example for audiences everywhere by giving them an almost mythic image of family unity and security, not to sugarcoat reality, but to give us a beacon, just like Laura did in her books.
Oh, Pa, thank you. Thank you.
So powerful is that message that viewers and readers alike feel more than nostalgia for Laura's world. Each year, people travel to the places Laura lived and wrote about to experience Laura's life for themselves. Once there, they can step back into Laura's world, exploring the real places and sharing their love of Laura's life in communities that devote great time and energy celebrating Laura's legacy through museums, pageants, and parades year after year. At some special events, fact and fantasy collide as fans and many of the actors who populated the Little House series meet face to face in order to share the common bond of the Little House on the Prairie experience.
And I don't think there's really any difference between the people who are very articulate and very want the books and the people that are reached by the television screen, because it's still the same story.
I'm glad it was a good setup.
To those who love her, Laura is not some distant figure.
For a lot of people who are in the pageant and in this community, Laura is a symbol, almost a family member to them. She represents for them a certain set of ethics and moral values, traditional family values that are really important.
But you need me here.
You wouldn't want me to break a promise I made to your ma, would you?
No, Pa?
However hard we know that life on the prairie was, that's not what we yearn for. We yearn for the simplicity of a loving family and a safe place to live. I don't know that that's easy to find anymore.
I do.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Teaching values and morals and working together and getting through hard times, those are the important things to teach.
My grandfather wishes me to be called Joseph Stokes, but my real name is Spotted Eagle.
You know, there were always two stories going on in the Little House on the Prairie. The adults learned something and the children learned something, and there was always a parallel.
Boy, Jeremy, you love him, he's gonna love you back. You reap what you sow.
Now with my daughter, we're reading the books together, and I get to share that with her in a whole nother aspect and in a whole nother way. And I get to hand those values down to her now.
How do you like your room?
It's wonderful. Yeah. And I've decided something.
What's that, Half-Pint?
Home is the nicest word there is.
Laura's legacy is really based in love, and not just love for the family unit, but love and respect for your fellow man.
Laura's unforgettable books and their adaptation by Michael Landon for the Little House series have provided millions of people in America and beyond with a bright light of hope, love, and faith that will continue to enrich readers and viewers, young and old, for generations to come.
Laura's legacy is a legacy that'll never end. It's a connection to where we come from that leads us to where we're going. The same themes play over and over again, generationally.
That legacy is going to continue regardless of what else is going on in the entertainment medium or in politics or society. It's not going out of style.
Laura's legacy are these wonderful stories, and not just the stories, the wonderful truths that people are so hungry for. And Laura knew what we hungered for.
Because now is now. it can never be a long time ago.
Thank you for watching us all these years. It was an incredible time in all of our lives.